We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of The Show Must Go Online featuring Kevin and Alex Brightman.
Yay, Kevin! He's like, why did you wake me up for that lame bit, Dad? Why did you wake me up for that? I'm gonna get an extra walk later because of that.
The best. We are so happy about it. And our sweet Slimbo, who's my co-host, is loving the beautiful weather outside. So, you know, he might come in. You might just hear him barking.
Can't wait.
Happens.
I can't wait. I miss Slimbo. We go way back.
way back. Well, you know, this is actually a great way to start because you are our first repeat guest, and we love that journey for us.
I love it. I feel like I've done the opposite of a glow up, and yet I'm still here.
You look wonderful. You know, it's so funny. Yeah, no, you really. I was watching some of the other videos that you've been doing, and it's like it's interesting to see how like this past year has almost been like a time capsule. Like I was rewatching our interview and then listening to it on the podcast, and just some of the things we were talking about was like, wow, these are the conversations that only could have happened in this specific time span. Like, do you think about that?
I do. I think it's, and also like how every week something was different. Like, you know, some things that were certainties, you know, the first month of the pandemic that we were talking about, and just like the sort of struggle to find masks and sanitizer. Like now it's like, you know, you can't give it away. It's like now it's all over. It's become so strange because at one point it was like this apocalyptic sort of frenzy of like, you know, getting toilet paper and all that kind of stuff and really feeling like there was something going on, and then you realize that there is something going on, and the terrors that all came with that. But I think that it is interesting to go back. I haven't done that yet, but I believe you that it would be like you could probably no other time in my life, I hope, is going to look like that. But yeah, no, it's been a wild, wacky, morose, morbid, exciting, silver lining laden, yet humbling and sobering year.
Yes. Wow. All of those things. I'm like taking in word for word.
I think it's all the things. I think you have to. I think I'm sure that many people have had horrible years. I am not one of them. I have friends that have had horrible years. I have had horrible moments, like everybody. But no, I think that it's everything. And I think that I've stopped saying at this point, because I think that is important at some point for your psyche, when people are like, how you doing? Now I just say good, rather than what I used to say, which is, well, considering everything good, which is true. But like, you know, just like I think that needed to kind of eventually fall away so we can kind of start figuring our way back. Like, how are you? I'm fine. Yeah. You know, or I'm having a bad day. With something non-pandemic related. You know what I mean? Like, it's not everything. I used to think the last bunch of months tie everything back to the pandemic. Like anything, I stub my toe and I'd be like, pandemic, you know. Yeah. So now I'm trying to find my way back to some kind of life that is like, you know, and successfully, I think, that feels normal adjacent, next to normal. Okay. Come on.
Hey-o.
Come on. Musical theater people.
We love it. Thank you. You know, normally I'm the one who's just like throwing out all of these Beetlejuice or, you know, general Broadway references, and the guest is like, okay.
No, but you brought like a walking dad joke to your show for the second time, so I'm good. I'm here for it.
Yes, love it. And you know who else I've brought is all of you for watching. Thank you. I am seeing these comment section. It is just like we will get to all of you.
That's what it feels like. When I did the I've done these like signings that I'm doing for this cartoon that I'm on, and I'd never done my own Instagram live before, and the thing that completely caught me off guard was it doesn't have to be like tens of thousands of people. It was like a little over 100 people were there each time, and it just never stops. I don't think people stop typing. It's crazy. It's exciting and it's flattering, but I was like, man, that is an overwhelming amount of comments.
Definitely. And I should say that like we will get to as many questions as possible. I am also doing this solo. I don't have like a producer looking through all of them. So just, you know, if I get to shout you out in your question, yay. If not, like, you know, the next time Alex is doing an interview, I hope you get it done. So please. Just, you know, I hope you enjoy this ride, this journey.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay. So now we kind of have this new rhythm to the show must go online, which is we start with the origin story. What got you into music and singing and acting and all that jazz?
That's a better question than what got you into theater. It is, because I think the theater, I've answered the like what got me into theater. Oh, I saw a Broadway show and I've told this story, right? But I think the interesting part of the question is what got me into anything creative, right? Like the music and all that kind of stuff, because that came first. My mom was a huge rock chick. And followed bands around and worked at a jean shop, and so she's like, sort of groupie kind of person who would like, she's got great taste in music and forced me, and didn't have to force for very long, to listen to all the right bands: AC/DC, Aerosmith, Pink Floyd, Fleetwood Mac, all the kind of like good rock stuff. But then it didn't discriminate. Like I listened to the big story from our family is me dancing on my fireplace. The big memory that I have, the first performance memory I have, I don't remember how old I was, I'm gonna have to check in with the parents, was singing on the fireplace with a hairbrush to Gloria Estefan and Billy Ocean. Get out of my dreams and into my car. Get out of my dream, but at like 4, or 5. And so that was my very first thing. I remember listening to CD after CD after CD of my mom's music collection. And so that's where I first got like the performing bug, really. But then it was sort of activated for theater when I saw my first show at the Winter Garden, which was Cats.
What? No way.
Way. In fact, which has become, my other, I call it my second New York City bathroom, which is like, if I'm in Midtown and I'm like, I can just go there.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good thing. Hey, that's really important these days.
I don't have to pay any minimum. I don't have to be a customer. I just can walk in and use the restroom. Not anymore. I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure. I think it's a liability if you're not in a show there, but hopefully soon enough there'll be another show there that I can be in.
That would be great. So, okay, perfect. So we go from this hairbrush singing, and then what were some of those early performances that you were up on a stage and there were people applauding and you're like, whoa, okay, yeah, I think I could really do this.
For sure. That the very first time I auditioned for anything was this community theater in San Jose called Children's Musical Theater of San Jose. Then it was called the San Jose Children's Musical Theater. So it went from SJCMT to CMTSJ in my lifetime there. And they are a theater company that's incredible and teaches you all about the community of community theater versus like the showbiz of it all and trying to get parts over each other. And they cast everybody that auditions. That's the sort of the thing that I really fell for, which I loved. And I auditioned, and everyone watches the auditions too. They're kind of open, which kind of helped alleviate fear over the years, because like I just was like, auditions were so performative, and now that's what they feel like to me anyway. Like I just go in and it's like, no, I'm just going to do my thing. And, and at the end of these auditions, I remember the very first one I did, I was auditioning for A Christmas Carol and I was like this tall. So I was definitely in the running for a Tiny Tim, and I finished my song. I didn't know what I was doing. I knew I had to sing a song in front of people, and I was nervous, and I did it, and people applauded. And it was because it's, open auditions. It's super encouraging, and it was no competition really, because everyone knew they were going to be in the show, just about what role. Yeah. And I immediately was like, well, I want to do this forever. I mean, I remember like every step of that process, I was like, this is what I want to do. And so there was that, coupled with the fact that every once in a while I would do like one of those like karaoke competitions at a fair.
Ooh.
And I would win them. Yeah. They would have like a stage,
amazing.
And you'd get like $100 gift certificate to Tower Records if you won. And $100 was something I had never ever thought about. So I won singing, a Backstreet Boys song. I can't remember what it was, like when I was in middle school or maybe middle school. I think it's God Must Have Spent a Little More Time. God must have spent a little more time on you, right? I think that's what it is. I think that's what the song was. I'm gonna fact check that, and I will know. But I won.
Please do.
So like those kind of little hurdles, you're like, I'm good at this. I think I'm good at some of this. And so I just kept wanting to do that. I wanted to get on stage and perform. I wanted to rehearse. I loved all the things, tech rehearsals, everything. So yeah, that was, that was the first like real love of like, that's where it kind of started becoming not real, because I didn't necessarily consider it to be like a career. I just had a lot of fun doing it for a long time. And I didn't think about it as like, I wasn't one of those people that thought way too far ahead. Which, you know, like good or bad, it doesn't matter. I didn't think about it as like, I could pay my rent doing this. I was like, I'll do theater and then do the other thing. I was totally thinking in the back of my head, like, I guess you have to have a backup plan, right? But
Backstreet Boys plan.
A Backstreet Boys plan. Very nice. And, but I didn't think about it until far too late. I mean, I was like, you know, when I was applying for college, I was like, oh, am I doing this? Like, like I was like going in for theater and I was like, wow, this is like, I'm really making a go with this. But it seemed every part of my life, like things like this, never felt like a big leap. It always felt like the necessary next step. And so that's what kept kind of affirming that maybe this is the right thing. Because nothing ever felt like, okay, here we go, NYU. It was like, yeah, NYU. Like, I want to apply, so I want to do good. And every kind of those next steps, I was like, the next necessary thing is I want to do this. And then I want to do it professionally. So it never felt like I was like trying to breach a world that I didn't belong in. I just didn't know how long it would take, which it didn't take that long at all, which was really amazing and lucky. And, you know, you hit a break and you were there, right place, right time. So I completely am aware of how lucky I got in the beginning. And then it's just kind of what you do with it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. I think there's this like the luck combined with talent that you could be lucky to get your first role, but you have to actually be good and put in the work and be nice to people. And, you know, all these other factors that luck can only go so far. You have to be able to back it up.
I think that's right for sure. I think all of that's 100% right. And my friend and co-conspirator Mark Summers of Double Dare acclaim would say, and this is in his show that I wrote for him, which is a line that he uses all the time, which I use now all the time, which is the harder you work, the luckier you seem to get. And so you can say, yeah, absolutely, I believe in luck. And especially with this kind of career, I think it's like part of it. You know, I think that there are people who are extremely talented, who I've seen, who I've coached, who have yet to make any sort of splash anywhere, even a minor one. And to me, that's a travesty because I know how talented they are. But it really is about, where do you live? Oh, I live in the deep woods of Montana. Well, there's no professional theater out there or whatever. You know what I mean? And so it is about whenever those steps are happening. But I also believe, and I'm not a very religious person, but I'm not a religious person at all. But I do think that when somebody said, I can't remember who said it, and somebody said the universe doesn't give you the things you want when you want them. The universe gives you the things you need when you need them. I have seen that in play. I have seen that work a lot of times. I have seen it not work when it's the person that's like, I really want this. And it's like, well, okay, that's not going to be up to you. But I have been in moments where, whether it's not even about a job either, it's something I need to hear, something I need to have on television, something that needs to enter my soul in some way. It happens at the right time for the most part. And whether you want to reverse engineer it and go, it wouldn't have happened unless, that to me is more work than I want to do. I'm just sort of like, I'm glad it happened. So to any people, not that this is the whole point of it, but to anyone out there that does care about this kind of stuff, it is worth remembering that like maybe you're 12 and 13 years old, you know, and like what that's the reason why you're not where you want to be yet, because you're supposed to be 12 and 13. And when you see other 13 or 14-year-olds on the Disney Channel, you go, why isn't that me? Because it's them. It's not you. It has nothing to do. They didn't take it from you. They don't know you. You know, it's like you don't know them. They're not you. You're not them. And that's good. And so it's about timing and place and stuff. So sometimes it's just, you can take the pressure off of yourself to know that maybe, just maybe, you are in the right place.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. You're really giving me Delia, everything happens for a reason.
That's right. That's right. I wish I have, there's a glass here and I just wanted to like put it into frame and it just be filled with brown like liquor. I'd be like, this is an empty glass, but just like, this is actually the vibes I'm giving.
Yeah.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere in 1 hour. Or I guess it's 5 o'clock in New York.
It is.
All right.
That's
well,
true.
Then I'm still not going to drink. I don't want to drink in front of my boy. Not in front of my boy. Oh.
Kevin.
He's so cute.
Kevin content going strong.
That's right. I haven't posted in a very long time. I've sort of been taking a small dip from Twitter for professional reasons. Good professional, but just like, you know, working on stuff and wanting to keep kind of a level head and not feeling like I need to check my worth all the time.
What a concept. I wish I could.
Please.
I could be
it's not,
so strong.
It's not easy. It's, you know, I'm one of those people that really is, I'm not very susceptible necessarily to negativity on that, because I always know, like, well, take it from whence it comes. You know, if you're going to be negative, that was your choice to be negative. You have to put yourself out there. I'm just more like, I don't want to feel like I need to keep checking all the time. And sometimes I do, especially during this last year. It was like, you know, everyone's phone became their best little friend, because it's what we had to communicate with everyone on. So I'm trying, with these new projects that are ramping up, I'm trying to like actually give myself time to work on them without any feeling of like, does everyone still like me?
They do. I can confirm.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I mean, I really appreciate that. I hope to continue to be liked.
Yes, as you are. So can you talk about any of these upcoming projects?
Sure. I'm the new Captain America. I don't know if that, no. No, I am happy to talk about some of them. So I have, so I'm on these 2 cartoons, which has been really very, very, very exciting, and also extremely fruitful during this time, because I booked both of them during the pandemic, which is doable because it's voiceover. They really only needed my voice. And so I got very, very, very lucky. This was luck, because voiceovers are, you know, you send in a tape and it's your voice going, "Hi, how are you?" And that you have to be among 100 other or 1,000 other "Hi, how are yous?" And somebody somewhere has to go, "That one." It's like, how do you choose? We're all doing a similar voice. And so I was very, very happy that the people at Hell of a Boss were fans of Beetlejuice and fans of mine, and all right. all right. I see the comments. It's hard for me to like, I lose my train of thought immediately because I start reading.
Oh no, I was like, should I throw some of them up there?
Perfectly fine. But it was cool, and I watched the show, and I remember I was in Oklahoma when I watched it, and I remember laughing my ass off and thinking it was so subversive, and it reminded me of things like Ren and Stimpy and that I used to watch. And I was also just psyched to be asked. You know, I didn't and I didn't realize how popular that show was going to be. Now I do. And that was amazing. And so I'm working on more episodes of that, which is really, really, really cool. And that's like pretty much as I can give, because they really like to keep their storylines pretty tight to the chest. But I can tell you that I choked up reading part of my storyline for season 2 for Hell of a Boss. So if that gives you any insight, it is not just all silly fun stuff. It's really interesting story stuff and heart stuff. I'm currently working on season 2 of a show that hasn't even released season 1 yet, of this show called Dead Endia, which is going to be on Netflix, where I will play a pug named Pugsley. It's been a blast to do. Season 1 is already done. They're releasing it in October, I believe, is the idea. Don't take my word for that, but I think that's the idea. I cannot wait for everyone to see this show. It's going to be revolutionary in some of the way it tells a story. It's the first cartoon ever to have a transmasculine lead, played by a transmasculine actor, Zach Barrick. I play his dog, and everyone on the show is phenomenal, and they deal with issues in a way that does not feel like hit over the head, this is a woke kind of show, which is the worry, you know, but it deals with it in this really interesting sort of supernatural way. It's really just about a bunch of people that work at a haunted theme park, but it has multiple themes and layers underneath that about how do you live in a world that wasn't necessarily built for you, which I think is the great theme, right? Especially with things like trans, non-binary, and the like. And so it's been really fun to work on, and really fun to educate myself further and further into all types of people and all types of struggles and all types of successes. And I cannot wait for you to see it. There's a musical episode in season 1, and so fear not. We're all singing. Yes. So I've been working on that even here. So I've been recording it. That's the beauty of voiceover, is you can record it from anywhere. And so I've been doing it here. I am also currently, as a trans mass person, I think the show will mean an awful lot to me. Incredibly excited. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. I think you will. I think, not every show is perfect, nor should it be, but I do think that it is written by the right people for sure, directed by the right people, and I believe acted by the right people, meaning me. No, but I think that those are going to be great. And then I am, without giving way too much away, because this is like the newest thing, is that I was tapped to write a show that is either going to end up somewhere in Vegas or the UK, and eventually New York is the idea. And it is an adaptation, but it is, you would, in a million years, and you don't even need to try and guess, in a million years you wouldn't guess what it is unless you've heard me say it already. But that's cheating. It's one of the greatest ideas I've ever heard, and I really wanted to write it, and it's an immersive experience, and it has all the things that I would love to see in a show. And so I'm really excited to write it, and I'm excited to announce what it's going to be at some point pretty soon, hopefully. But I've been working my tail, Kevin, on this show when I've been here. We've been writing. So I'm excited for that to be a thing, but all in due time. Other than that, I am developing 2 plays that I have had in the works for a long time. I mean, a long time. Plays take forever, but they're both very dark and very serious and interesting and deal with weird subject matters. And all the comedy that I am on stage does not really reflect it in the plays that I write. Much darker, much weirder topics, much more interesting, much more complicated subject material. But I'm hoping to get a reading of one of them, which just was the finalist on some award, a screenwriting competition. Get that done this year with a real director, and start getting kind of the process going to possibly try and get that play up.
Wow. Okay, yeah. This is amazing. I am so thrilled to hear all of this and all the new things and some developments from the older things that we've talked about. Okay, can I make one guess just based off of our last conversation of an adaptation? Am I allowed to make a guess?
Make a guess. I'll tell you if you're right.
Is it Goosebumps?
It's not. I'm telling you, it's not. You'd have to sincerely go through an alphabetical list of movies that have ever been made ever, and just start from the A's, and at some point you get it right. It's
I love this.
Right, but it's not a popular movie. It's a great movie, but it's not very popular. And so we're going to try and kind of repopularize. Go ahead, feel free. You're not going to get it.
Try me. No, I'm probably not. But John and I just watched this Vegas movie, so this is why I'm thinking of it. Yeah. It's with Matt Damon and
Rounders.
Rounders
is a great movie. I don't find it to be very stage adaptable, but the great movie. True. I like the movie Rounders. It's John Malkovich as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Okay.
No, stop guessing. I will not be quiet about it once I am allowed to say what it is. So.
Okay, perfect.
And by the way, when I do say what it is, there will be a lot of people that are like, "What? I don't know what that is." So that's kind of the reason why.
Okay, I love that. No, the reason I thought it could have been Rounders was because John loves poker, and I've never heard of the movie, but I like the actors. So he was like, I need to finally show you this movie. And we watched it. I was like, oh, that's really good.
Have you watched Molly's Game?
Okay, we have talked about, have we seen it? And he's convinced we have. And I've told him, no, you've talked about it nonstop. We need to watch it. So I think this weekend we're going to have to actually watch it.
I would say even if you have, it's worth a rewatch. It's a really very fun, doesn't hurt anybody kind of movie. It's like very Ocean's 11-y kind of cut and shot. And it's just a really fun story. And it's a true story. But it's just really told very well. I'm not being paid by this movie. This movie came out years and years and years ago. I'm just a fan.
Brought to you by Alex.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, now that we're talking about all these other projects, let's, go back to Beetlejuice.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
We've got some show and tell.
I thought there was going to be a segment, but it didn't happen. I thought it was going to be like a theme song. And
wouldn't that be great? I've thought about it.
You should have it. It'd be easy. Okay. Show and tell. You can use that sound clip for the next thing.
I plan on it. Thank you.
Thank you, by the way. I don't think I said this publicly. Thank you for dressing up.
Oh, thank you.
I haven't dressed up. So,
but you're here. You showed up.
I am here. Yeah, showed up.
Actually, okay, wait. Let's also talk about how, since you just gave us that wonderful show and tell, you also gave this beautiful, brilliant intro for bwaySHO, the podcast.
Oh, yes. I remember that.
That was pretty great.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
What else? What else have I done for you?
So much. You've really launched my career. Thank you.
I do remember, like a while ago, just kind of like kept remembering you from things. And I was like, you're so good at your job. You're so fun, and going to schmackeries and going to the Broadway and Bryant Park. Like you're one of those people that's very easy to talk to. So I am happy to always chat.
Alex, you're making me blush.
Well, that's up to you. I'm just telling the truth.
Thank you.
What else are we? What are we show and telling about Beetlejuice? I have nothing to say about that show.
What is Beetlejuice anyway? What is it?
I've moved on. Okay, and so should you. No, I have not. I have not moved on.
We all need to move on, people. It's been 2 years. Actually, happy 2-year anniversary.
I saw that. That's how you know how long it's been, because I said to find that out on like on a Playbill website. I was like, oh, that was when we opened. It was today. Yes, that was very fun to see, and weird to see myself in Beetlejuice makeup. It's been a while, so but yeah, I miss it. I miss it a whole bunch. I did my mourning period early on in the pandemic when and had like a real mourning week where I was not in a good mood, very, very bad mood, and let myself be. But then, safety first, so we move on and figuring it out. But I think the show was halted so fast for very good reasons. But I think that there's so much momentum that is still behind that show, and so much fan support and support in general, and that the interest hasn't gone away even a slight bit. And so I think that at some point, I know the conversations are being had to revitalize and figure out something. I can't officially say that we'd be, coming back to Broadway, but I can unofficially say that we probably are. I mean, it's like, but you can't take my word for that. You're not allowed to take my word for that, because we don't know what next week and the week after and the week after holds. So, if we have to stay back inside again, then you can't be like, but Alex said. You're not allowed to do that. But no, I think with all certainty, I think that just knowing how shows work and knowing what's popular and why, and how many people still want to see it again or for the first time, I don't think there's a reason why it shouldn't come back. And I think it would bring a lot of amazing tourism back to New York too, and when in time it would need it the most. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited that, and I know there's still content to be released, which is cool. There's like stuff that, I think very smartly they've been holding, things like the demos album, right? Like they existed forever, but the reason it was a nice little treat in the middle of all this. And so I think it's very smart what they're doing, and it's fun to be a part of it. And I would like to keep being a part of it if they'd let me.
Ooh, well, we love that. We love that tease. We love the unofficial, but giving us a little bit of hope. Sometimes that's all we need, right? Just that little bit of hope.
I can tell. Here's what I can tell you: if and when the show comes back, it won't be at the Winter Garden. So which is cool. I think there's something kind of cool about that, because it's it's a true resurrection, so to speak, of a show. No pun intended. Kind of intended. But I think it's fun to like really kind of start from fresh and not have to feel like we're moving into an old house. And again, no pun intended. But it would be cool. I do think I know what theater it is if we do, but it's the big if, right? I mean, it's such a small word, but such a big meaning. If.
Can you share what you think it might be?
No, I know. It's not what I think it might be. I know what theater it is. It's just, I can't, I know. And I also know that I cannot share it.
Okay. If I didn't ask, what kind of reporter
I can tell you this, it's between 54th and 42nd Street.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Between like 8th Avenue and around 5th Avenue, right around that box. If thinking there, and that's what I think, we'll end up somewhere in there.
This narrows it down perfectly.
Yeah. And it is a theater.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
I was really hoping it could also be this immersive space you were talking about.
It's the rooftop of the Olive Garden in Times Square.
I mean, I could see that happening. And there's a giant snake here, and then a storm happens.
Just never-ending breadsticks just coming out. Yeah.
This is great. Yes. Well, and also Beetlejuice is happening in Brazil and South Korea. And I heard about it's potentially like London and maybe a tour, right? Like all these things have already been in the works.
Oh yeah, big time. I think that again, if the pandemic didn't happen, this Music Man of it all, like taking us away from the theater, wouldn't have been a problem. You know what I mean? That wouldn't have been the thing that stopped the show. That's the good news is that I think that there's like, yes, it was not a cool situation, but whatever. It's showbiz. I can think about it what I want, and we can all think about it what you want. That's fine. But what's the thing that really, really stopped our show and others was the pandemic. It wasn't lack of ticket sales or you know, this sort of moving in of another show. That's not at all what will stop the show. That's what closed our show, but that is not what's going to stop the show. So, no, I think there's a lot of hope on our end as well, and that things will be coming back in some way. And yeah, I'm excited about it. And look, if it means that if Beetlejuice goes to London, like there's no question that I'm not going to go. I'm going. I will go. I will upend my life here and I will live in London.
This is very exciting. I need this now.
I would have gone to Korea. It's just they wouldn't let me.
So you really like, you know, it's interesting because people have asked me this and I'm like, I have no inside information, but it's interesting when you're the star of a show on Broadway and then it goes somewhere else, whether it's on tour or a sit down somewhere else. Certain people are like, oh yeah, I just want to keep doing this role. I'm thinking like Anthony Rapp and Rent, right? Like this was his role. Big and like time. Lin-Manuel going to Puerto Rico, he's like, this is my home. This is where I need to go. And other people are like, I had this opportunity on Broadway and I want to like hold that true. So it's really interesting hearing that you're like, no, I love this. I will try my best to do this anywhere I can.
I think I'm a little bit of column A and column B because I think that one, I didn't feel like I had a satisfying ending to Beetlejuice. So I'd like to leave on the terms that like I was hoping for, which was like on my own terms. And so, which is always and like, I think it's, you know, this just felt like we're sort of still feels like we're buffering in a way that feels like, are we doing the show? You know, so I think that I'm just not done with it yet. That's one. This is a show that has some staying power with me because the show is quite literally so different every night that it wasn't monotonous in any way. I just really, you get into a rhythm of some shows and you're like, as much as I love this is like driving the same highway every day. You're like, there are moments where you're like, okay, this part I'm not loving as much. And that's when you find out when you need to leave a show, in my opinion. When you start falling out of love with it, you shouldn't stay. And I know people have financial reasons and families, and I totally understand that and encourage that too, to stay. But for me, I don't have those problems necessarily. And so my gauge is, I don't want to resent. I don't want to resent and then leave. That's not what I want. I want to leave when it's great. So I think that I don't know if I'd go on tour, mainly because I have sort of a homestead and I'd want to stay and not leave. Someone's got to want Kevin. And then the UK just sounds great because it's like a change of scenery, but like it's a city. I can still do the stuff I'm doing there. I can still do all the things I'm doing now, you know? So I think it's column A, column B. I'm not done with the show yet, but it's certainly not going to be something I hang on to for a long time for one other reason, which is that I want to see a million other people play the role. I'm looking forward, in fact, to everything I'm looking forward to the 100% polar opposite playing the role when I'm done. I think that should be the case. And I am working both quietly and a bit loudly to make that happen. Like I think that it would be a disservice to, you know, I leave the show and then they find somebody like me. It's like, there are more interesting people out there. You know, it's like, I got the, you know, straight white guy thing covered and let's get somebody else in the role, you know, let's see what they have to say. And so I think that, you know, a lot of shows are figuring that out, including ours. You know, no show's perfect as far as that kind of stuff goes, but I think that our show has a great opportunity, you know, to do that because the world is so ripe for point of view. And whoever takes on a role like that that's what they have to do. And if they tried to do what I was doing, they wouldn't do it because they're not me and I'm not them. So they should be doing their thing. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the different types of people that come in to play Beetlejuice and end up playing Beetlejuice. I don't think there should be the criteria is, can you do the show? You know, it's not about who you are. It's can you do the show? And we can always lower and raise keys. Don't quote me on that because I'm not Eddie, but I imagine it's easy enough to in my perfect world, when I ran for president, that we could be able to lower and raise keys depending on the person playing the role.
You're not Eddie, but that sounds perfect.
Hey, all right, I gotta go. I have to leave now. I have to be rude for 1 second and just check because I get 7 text messages in a row, and I just want to make 100% sure that I'm not like the bottom part of the house is on fire. Sorry.
Please do what you got to do. I'm trying to fix this necklace here. Show off my scenery necklace.
I love it
from Beetlejuice.
Yeah. What if by me texting you found out like all the news I wasn't supposed to drop? I was like, the theater was this, the project is this. Hi, puppy.
Slimbo. Yeah, if we could get some breaking news right here, that would be fabulous.
Here's some breaking news. Right after this, I'm gonna go get a Diet Coke from Sonic. You heard it here first.
Wait, you like Sonic?
Oh God, I just heard there's going to be a Sonic in New York City, and I was like, we have to move because I'm going to end up being, I'm like a complete addict when it comes to Sonic. I just think about it all the time. It's the last thing I think about when I go to bed. It's the first thing I think about in the morning. It's a wonderful, beautiful chain, and I am absolutely not getting paid to say this, which is really depressing that I'm not getting. I should be. That would make this easier for me if I knew I was getting, but I'm not. I'm purely out of love and respect for the product. I really enjoy it.
The amount of things that we are promoting but not being paid to promote, like Scenery. I love their products, not being paid.
Not only do I love Scenery, but I love the wonderful lady who created it. I love Jen, and I knew Jen before Scenery, or probably when Scenery was kind of a glimmer in her eye in San Diego when I was doing a show there. I met Jen. Wonderful company, really really cool company. One of the coolest ones I've heard in a long time. Go buy stuff from Scenery, everybody. Super fun. Is that the Beetlejuice one, the coffin thing, or piece of the stage or something?
Sure is.
That's so cool.
Isn't that so awesome?
Yeah, that's a piece of our stage, right, or something?
Yeah, exactly. Both of these are. This is from DC.
That's right. I knew they were. That's so cool. I love that. That business is like one of the coolest things I've heard in a long time.
It's so awesome. You know, now that I'm already shouting out my friends, I feel like I have to continue with the show and tell here. And
that's awesome.
Isn't this so cool? It's a little coffin. We've got Carrie Butler's signature here.
Love.
And this is from Custom Broadway. Also not an ad, but I just like to shout out my friends.
So cool.
Yeah. I think this might open, but I've kept it closed for so long that maybe it doesn't. But that would be really fun. Imagine if I could keep my Beetlejuice ring and necklace in this win-win. I'll have to talk to Chelsea.
Or if you've never opened it, what if there's like $500 in there?
What if I could be super rich and I just haven't opened it yet?
Yeah, exactly.
What a shame that would be. Well, we'll have to see here right after. Stay tuned, everyone.
Yeah, but I will tell you this. I am going to Sonic after this.
I'm going to call John, my boyfriend, and be like, so on your way home from Seattle, please pick up some Sonic. And he will be like, wow, I thought you'd never say that.
Yeah.
He loves it.
That's going to turn your boyfriend into a husband by you saying that.
These are the defining moments.
These are the moments. Life. That's when I knew. She was the rest of my life.
It was one Sonic blast, and I just knew. The Oreos. Okay. Anyway, so we moving on. So let's just I'm just going to throw this out there. If you started to all the fans watching, if you wrote a comment or question at the top, please, this would be a great opportunity to just copy and paste it, because there have been a lot of comments and questions, and we're going to try to get to as many as possible, but it is going to be harder to scroll back through. So this is your opportunity to copy and paste if possible. Cool.
Yeah.
That being said, I did have another Beetlejuice question, and then we're going to move on to other things, unless of course, questions. But have you been at any point just like walking around trying the Beetlejuice voice and making sure you still have it?
Yeah, but because I on both cartoons that I use a version of that voice. I mean, the one on Hell of a Boss is like basically that voice. It's just a little higher pitched and a little more like zany, I guess. It was like, a little more high energy at all times. So I do have to keep it sort of greased. I have to kind of like because it does go away. It's one of those things that if I don't do it for a while, it takes a day or two where I do, unfortunately, can't do it for very long because it starts to tickle before I can actually remember the things I have to do. And then it kind of just comes back in muscle memory. So yeah, I do. I have to warm that up when I do voiceover and stuff. So I do kind of rev up that thing. I kind of do like a vocal warm up, like a regular one. And then, that didn't sound very good. But then I would go and kind of make that happen and have to keep, so yes, I keep it very well oiled at any moment's notice. And thankfully I don't slip into it. That's like one thing I was never worried about, but I get that question a lot. Do you ever accidentally slip into the Beetlejuice voice? I was like, when would I ever have an opportunity to do that if it wasn't totally on purpose as a joke, like at like Sweet Green or something, ordering, like, can I get more feta on that? And they're like, sorry. I don't also know that their reaction would even be worth the response. Like I'd be like, get it, I'm Beetlejuice. They'd be like, who? That's like my nightmare. Is like, the idea of like, I just recently, I was walking in New York and I saw somebody with a Beetlejuice shirt on, and they were close enough to me, and I said, hey, I like your shirt. And I said, thanks. And they walked away because they didn't know of course, by the way, I didn't expect them to like look at my face with a mask on and be like, that's definitely Alex Brightman's eyes for sure. And by the way, even without the mask, I'm not 100% sure they would have been psyched. They were like, okay, I just like the show. I'm not a big fan of yours. But it was a very real moment. And I was like, right. Which is good. I actually prefer the amount of being known that I am right now. Okay. There's not a lot of pressure that comes with or scrutiny that comes with the amount of sort of, and I wouldn't even call it fame because I think that's a different thing. But if you want to call it that, like lowercase f, like known within the blocks of Broadway. Yeah, for sure. But like outside of that, that's what I get. Outside of that, that's what I get for thinking on the Upper West Side. I'd be like, cool shirt. And like the ideal in my head scenario was to be like, wow, it's you. And then, but really what she was like, get away from me, creep.
Who are you?
Like, no, I guess that's fair.
You're a creepy old guy.
Seriously, that's what I felt like. And I was like, all I wanted to do was have like a human connection with somebody because like it's been COVID and like hard to like, make connections with people. And I really thought this was going to make less of her day, more of mine, just to be like, to share some like fun, interesting Beetlejuice. I had no time. I had nowhere to be. So I had all the time in the world if we wanted to like chat, or I don't know what I thought was going to happen. Like I was going to be like, let's get a coffee and chat about theater. It's like never good. And then immediately they were like, not interested.
I don't know why this brings me so much joy, but it's such a funny story.
I tell you this, it brought me a lot of joy because it was a great story to tell you and everybody else, but it's good. I am as much of an egotist and a narcissist as any actor, right? I mean, like we got into this because we heard applause and we liked it and wanted more of that. But I will say that like, I feel like of the narcissists and of the egotists in the business, I feel like I think a lot. I think perfectly highly of myself, like among others. But I do think that I come at it with a true love of this game and like a true love of like wanting to connect and coming from that community theater aspect. So it was funny to be humbled even further.
Yeah.
By somebody. And I think I needed it. You take it down. It's good to be taken down a peg. It reminds you that your feet are on the ground and that you're on Earth and you're not as special as everybody else. And everybody's special in their own ways. You're not just, just because you've been on Broadway doesn't mean that's it.
It's true. It makes me think of, I watched this video of you from like, I think it was 2012 with Big Fish. And you were going around like interviewing people like, hey, are you excited to see Alex Brightman?
No. Yeah, that was a really good time in my life. I really enjoyed filming that video, especially for like the self-deprecation, which is something I do very well. I think that is something. Yeah, and I think that is a good video, by the way. I remember I revisited that not very long ago and I was like, this is good.
It is. It is. It's also, it's funny. I'm wearing my glasses right now, and when I take them off, the Superman Supergirl aspect of it all isn't lost on me, but I was once, this was back when I was a reporter in Texas, and I was at the cash register just getting groceries, and I had my glasses on, and I go to take them off to like clean them, and they go, "You're the reporter from CBS 7." I was like, it does work.
That's incredible. Yeah, so far I've just gotten like glares and people turning away, so I don't know. Maybe I need all the makeup when I walk around town.
Yeah, or like some green or purple in your hair. It'll work.
Or just a shirt that says I was in Beetlejuice once.
And all I got was a stupid shirt.
Yeah, pretty much. Does anyone want to talk to me? Question mark.
Anyone want to talk to
I have stories.
We can get a coffee.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just really the story that I'm telling here is that I'm just lonely in New York.
Please go visit Alex.
No, don't do that.
Just kidding. Yeah, actually.
Yeah,
sometimes, you make a joke and people are like, I'll go. Please don't. Which,
wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're telling me that you can make a joke on the internet and people will take you seriously? You're telling me, hang on a second. You're telling me that I could say something totally harmless and people would take it the wrong way on the internet?
On the internet?
Now this is breaking news. Kevin's leaving. He's too upset.
He's appalled.
Yeah.
Well, he feels like this
you can do it, Kevin. I believe in you. He's trying to get out the door.
Oh, is he doing that thing with the nose?
Yeah, he's gonna do it. I believe in you, buddy.
Kevin,
maybe he's not.
Kevin.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna open the door. Hey, wait. Okay. There you go. Okay, I'm back.
Perfect. Okay, I do want to ask this question. This is,
Please.
This is what's so tough with doing these type of interviews is that these people come with these brilliant questions, and then it also makes me think of a question that I had. But you know what? For the sake of the fact that I already said I was going to ask all their questions, it's way more fair. And I've asked so many of my own. So Annabelle asks, BJ question, Beetlejuice is not only a demon from hell, but also a pretty lonely guy. Was there any specific moment in the musical that made you really sympathize, pity, connect with him?
Oh, yeah. I think that's the key that we found from DC to Broadway is that in DC, he was like, you couldn't get through. You couldn't really, as an audience member, like connect with him because he was so not you. He was like a demon and he didn't care about you and he wanted to just, connive and he was a bad guy from the jump. And I think the thing we found was the more relatability he has in the beginning, the more you forget that he's a bad guy, which was like became the other trick of the show is that you were like, we love him. And you're like, wait a minute, he's terrible. So yes, plenty of moments. I think the whole, like opening monologue of him explaining like what's going on about like, I'm lonely, it's not, cause I think he really means it. He's like that's what I think is the best part is that like, I think one of the coolest parts about Beetlejuice in general, meaning the character, not just the musical, but in the cartoon and the movie and all the iterations, is the one thing they never really tapped into was that whole feeling of not being seen is not just literal, right? I mean, it's figurative. And so I think there are a lot of people I know, and I'm one of them, where there are moments in my life where I had felt like people were not seeing me for who I was or seeing me at all. And when somebody sees you, that moment where somebody goes, I know what's going on in there. I get you. And that's wonderful. And that happens in auditions, in relationships, in friendships, when you both say the same thing and you realize you've like found the right person. In those moments, that's like being seen. So I think when Lydia says, who the hell are you? That like every night I could remember just the kid in me and also like the human in me was like, get chills because what are the odds, And there we go, a connection, a real connection. So that's what I would sympathize with. And yeah, I don't want to keep talking because I know there's like not a ton of time, but I like these questions. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. I love this. And this is such a fun question from Chris. What are some new drag names you and your wife have come up with?
Hello, Chris. Thank you for, that is something that I do a lot. We'll be walking around or hearing something or see a place and I'll go, that's my new drag name. The latest, this is a great one. And I'm sure it's been done before, but it feels like I might be the first is we pulled up to a parking lot and there's all these, strip mall kind of buildings. And I said, there's my new drag name. And there it was right on the title, Pearl Vision.
Love it.
Pearl Vision and then Spike Seltzer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Pearl Vision can also be a spinoff from WandaVision. So
we talked about we did have that moment of the new sort of WandaVision, but she can't see very well and Pearl Vision. Yeah, there was my favorite, I think, of the entirety of ever hearing about them. I didn't come up with this one, but I use it all the time in conversation. Is perfect drag name, Bridget of Madison County, which I love. I think it's one of the greatest, simplest drag names ever. I love a good drag name, and I love a good drag show.
Oh yeah. So
I've never been to drag brunch. That's what I've never been to, and I want to go to a drag brunch.
Alex,
I love brunch. I'll go to anything brunch. I could go to like, we're gonna shoot you in the head with an arrow brunch, and it was like, you said brunch, right? All right, I'm there.
Seems an unfortunate brunch, but drag brunch, way more fun, way less arrows.
So I'd say this about, I know the question you were gonna ask was I watching Drag Race, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have watched Drag Race. I love Drag Race. Haven't had the time to watch this current season or many seasons, but have watched many seasons with groups of people, including when I was in Los Angeles when I was like 18 years old doing the History Boys, my very first play I ever did in Los Angeles. The group of boys would get together and do RuPaul's Drag Race nights. So I became a fan early. So yeah, I haven't been back to it, but boy, does it, from looking at all the reactions on like Twitter and stuff like that, I'm like, that's a world that I could heavily get back into because it's so, I enjoy that so much.
Yeah.
And who doesn't like Ru? Come on, Ru.
People.
Oh, right. That's right. Some people don't like Ru.
But that's for a different time. Yes.
I can't keep up anymore. I can't keep up anymore with who people like and don't like anymore. So
I know.
I'll say, how about this? Whoever all of you don't like, be me too.
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate that.
There you go.
What was the funniest thing you did in Beetlejuice that made the audience die from laughter?
Can I swear on this?
Please.
Great. I didn't know. Probably the thing that got the biggest reaction was when I changed the line from Brigadoon to the Music Man, when I had to say more boring than Brigadoon. And I said, that's right. I said it. Fuck Brigadoon is the big line from the show. And I think it was like maybe it was a week, I think, after the news broke about Music Man taking our theater. I just knew I was going to do it at some point. And I was like, because it's like, it's right there. It's right there. And I was like, and so I didn't tell anybody. I wanted everyone to be caught off guard, and I wanted to be the right audience as well. Like I wanted to be an audience that I could feel were Beetlejuice fans, because I didn't want to ruin it for anybody. I don't believe in like an inside joke in a show. Like these are just for the 8 fans that are here. I want everybody to be in on it. So the crowd was live and crazy enough, and I could see that there were like a lot of like genuine Beetlejuice fans there too of the show. And so it felt like the right crowd. Let it rip. It got a show-stopping like laugh, applause, hybrid response, which was great. And then the whole cast, we were like loving it. And then at the end of the show, one of our producers, very, as he should, very smartly came up to my room and he was like, yeah, you can't do that again. And I was like, you're right. Yeah. So I got like a little bit of a wrist slap, as I should have. And, that was that.
I love that you took the risk. You were like, I'm going to make it worth it. I'm going to do it. And
my theory is it's like, as long as you're not offending somebody on a very deep personal level, I think that something like that can play. It can't keep playing, but like something like that I knew was going to be safe enough to do that it wasn't going to like cost me anything aside from possible wrist slap and maybe even getting written up, which is something that happens in shows. But like, I was like, I've never been written up before. Why not make it? Why not go out with a bang?
I think my friend Rachel was either at that show or had heard about it because I got a message from her and I was like, oh, that's so good.
Somebody has in our cast, in our company, it's in the hair, I think someone in the hair department or somebody in the makeup has a video of the onstage monitor when it happened. Because I think like somebody was like, oh, I maybe told one person. It was like, I can't remember, but that video exists somewhere, and maybe we'll find it and probably never release it.
Well, that's
I
life.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
These are great questions. Thank you for all for asking them.
These are really, really phenomenal questions, and they're just like commenting how like responses to things that we said earlier, and they are really great and funny, and I appreciate you all so much.
Are there any mean ones?
No, which is actually phenomenal. Thank you for like truly. I mean, this is sometimes you get some.
Yeah,
some
I just think
people.
there's always, you can't predict all that. But I typically like when people are just nice in general. It's like there doesn't cost you much to be just nice, and it's so hard to be mean.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I'm trying to go through all these. Isabella saying I'm Brazilian and a big fan of yours. I'm also Brazilian. Did you know?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that either of you were.
Dual citizen, baby. Yeah.
That's outstanding.
So fun. I'm going to keep going through this, but why don't we take this moment for you to share a nonprofit or charity that you want to shout out?
Okay. Let's shout out. I think I haven't stopped shouting out Black Girls Code, which I just love and have donated and funneled other people's money there. So for sure that Black Girls Code. I just did this most recent signing that I did. A lot of the portion of the proceeds went to Asian Americans advancing justice for obvious reasons when the awful attacks were still happening. And so that's become more of a newer one. If you want to find, and they have different chapters. This one was specifically for Georgia because the attack had just happened. And so, Asian Americans Advancing Justice, Black Girls Code. I mean, if you want to just generally just donate to the NAACP, go right ahead. No, I think that's good. I don't want to overload you with stuff. So you have 3 options.
Thank you. And I'm just going to add to this, the Stuttering Association for the Young, because we've spoken about that before.
The greatest.
I love them. And, this is one thing I'll just add that I've had a stutter for like most of my life, and I've kind of denied that I had it. And I think because it wasn't like, it didn't stop everything, that I was like, well, no, I don't have it. But especially during quarantine, and I've been stressed more, and it's coming out more. And it was this like eye-opening thing that, because I've been involved with and I wrote to them and we've been talking, and it just like, even as an adult who's a reporter on air, like it's nice to know that it's okay to just be your full self. And, I think I was feeling a little embarrassed, and now I don't. I feel like I can embrace it more. So if you're feeling like that for anyone out there, if it's stuttering or, anything that you might be feeling, you're not alone. And we're here for you.
I think it's incredible to me when people, because they can't get a word out in the time that you'd like them to, that all of a sudden makes them less than. It makes no sense to me. And kids are obviously kids sometimes need a moment to figure that out. But adults are also mean. So it's you're right. I have had, and mine has also come. I'm sure that a lot of people have had whatever their speech impediments were or are, have come back. Mine certainly have. Because of moments of stress or just, being lazy or whatever, just kind of, I don't think about it all the time. And I don't have my show at night to keep me honest with, getting my lips wrapped around certain words. So I get lazy, and I haven't had to get lazy in the last 12 years because I've been in shows, and that's not a flex. That's just that's what it is. I didn't have to think about it. Yeah. So now, just in normal conversation, I'll find myself having to pause more and redirect words, which is something I do a lot. I say quite a bit if I can't get the word out right away. Once you hear it, you can't not hear it. I tell people, once I tell you that I have a thing and they're like, you don't have a stutter, I go, listen for these 3 things that I do all the time. And then if you can go back in any interview, you can see where I am subconsciously, because I'm certainly not, it's not active. It doesn't cost me a ton, but now it's become second nature to just sort of redirect words if I can't get the syllable right in the first one, or the consonant going, the right way for me. I think the other day I was trying to say the word move, that really gets me moving. I was thinking something, and I couldn't get the M out, and it was and right away I just was like, it was the first time in a while it had happened in a way that I was like, oh, I'm not going to get this word out, and so I said, I really gets me dancing, and I just had to immediately change, and it's like you would never see it unless you were kind of aware of what was going on. But yeah, it says it's people have what they have. They got things. They're not invisible. So the worst thing you can do is pretend like it's not there. And the 2 ends of the spectrum are bad, acting like it's not there or really acting like it is. If you have questions about something that somebody has, ask them, but don't make it a big deal. That's all it is. The more questioning you have, and the art of questioning, I think is also pretty huge, because just being bold and going, how come you stutter? That's different for everybody. I wouldn't care if you asked me that. I'd tell you, But there are some people that feel like just your tone and alone is like, oh, they don't like me because I do this, which is probably not true, but it's also worth self-reflecting and going, how can I kindly ask people about the thing I'm interested in? Because the same thing with people in a wheelchair. It's like the last thing they want you to do is be like, I don't see you. I don't even see that you're in a wheelchair. It's like, what are you, nuts? It's like, it's what you do with the information after you know it's there, right? That's the thing. It's the I don't see color thing. It's like, it's like, sure you do, but it's about what you do after you see color. That's the important part. So that kind of stuff. But yeah, the stutter, and please donate to Say. I love Say.
As you were saying that, the line that came up was, "You're invisible when you're me." Is it me or sad?
Sad. Well, sad is her. You're invisible when you're me. Oh God. Nobody gives a no. That's an old lyric. Wait. This is gonna be perfect content. Now everyone's gonna watch me struggle to remember lyrics from my own show. You're invisible when you're me. Something truth. Somebody help me. And then Shoshana, there's no one to, there it is. There's no one to see my truth. If they could look up and see, if they could look up, they'd see, hey, somebody's on the roof. God, it's mortifying. What's the point of even trying? Now I'm trapped with no escape, banished, disavowed. I've banished, disavowed. I've vanished like a cloud of dirty hipster vape. Small comedic cough. Nobody said life's fair. Leg. Guess they will never see the demon who isn't there. You're invisible when you're me. Free performance.
Yes. I wasn't trying to get this, but I'm so glad I did.
I was really actually very fun to try to remember because it's been a long time. I would need an actual refresher. We're going back in rehearsal. It's not like riding a bike. It's like, it's crazy. Anyway.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up here. Sucks, yes.
Sucks, yes.
Had to throw that out there. Yes. Huzzah! And I can't stop smiling. Yes, me too. That was the perfect way to end it. I appreciate you so much. Where can everyone find you on social media?
A Bright Monster on Twitter and Twitter only. If you see an Alex Brightman on Instagram, it is either somebody, pretending to be me. And if they are, I hope they're having a good time. I would encourage them to also, maybe live their own life. It's probably more fun. Or if you think it's not, you're probably wrong. Your life is probably awesome. I do appreciate you liking me, but enough to make an account as me. Just make sure that you're nice to people and not using it for anything but good. But yeah, no, I'm not on Instagram, so I don't even check it. I don't have the app. I have the app when I do these signings, but I delete it afterwards, so I don't check it. And that's it. I'm on Twitter. That's where you can find me. And that's where I'm trying to eventually kind of shift over to having a website so people can just kind of have people can if you just want to seek things out, they can do that. So, but for now it's Twitter and I will see you there. And I've had a really good time chatting with you.
Yeah, me too. Thank you. I'm going to do a 2-second plug here so everyone knows. You can find me at bwaySHO. That's bwaySHO, as you see throughout here. You can also find me at bwaySHO Podcast, and that's where Alex has been a wonderful guest. We take the episodes from the Show Must Go Online, transfer it over to bwaySHO Podcast. That's pretty cool. And we have the Showtrons, which is the bwaySHO Patreon. And I have to give my girl Ashley a birthday shout out, who you spent her last birthday with her, I think, during like a video chat.
Oh, right on. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ashley.
Happy slappy dappy birthday.
Perfect. Yes. And so thank y'all. And oh my goodness. I was contemplating if I should ask this. I feel like I have to. You can do it in the voice. You don't have to do it in the voice. But I've always just wanted a video of you saying it's showtime.
Sure. I'm happy to do it. Ready? I'm going to do it. This will even be a better plug for you. Ready? Hi, you're watching or listening to bwaySHO. It's show time.
Yes. Thank you. Wow, you have just, this is perfect. I can clip that off. You've always just been so generous with your time, your energy, Yeah, thank you. At Broadway Bakes, Broadway in Bryant Park, Broadway opening night. I just have to thank you and thank you and thank you, because not everyone recognizes the impact that they have on people's lives and the community. And I know that you were a fan, and now being in the position that you are. And I love how you're always like, 2-time Tony loser. So humbling.
I can say it. You can't. I'm just kidding. No, but I'm still a fan. So that's the idea.
Yeah.
You know, the idea is that you should always still be. So that's the thing. That's why I like doing this still. And I appreciate you giving me, but by the way, to asking, you know, that's as flattering as it gets, is somebody wanting to hear from you. So I don't take that for granted. So I appreciate you wanting to chat again. And it's always lovely to see you.
Always lovely to see you. We will see you in New York. I can't wait. Kevin! Oh, what a little nugget. Perfect. The perfect way to start it and end it. Thank you all for watching. You have been absolutely wonderful and lovely to one another as well. I see in the comments, you're just complimenting each other.
Keep doing that.
Love to see that. Perfect. Wear a mask. Be safe. Get vaccinated when it's your time. Please, just everyone, let's be healthy and safe and nice to one another and to ourselves. We'll see you at the show.
Couldn't have said it better. Bye-bye.
Bye, friends.